Today we're exploring the life of a musician who used the keyboard as a weapon, a poet, and a pioneer. He brought the classical piano into the world of rock and roll and fundamentally changed the way we listen to music. We're talking about the iconic Keith Emerson. Keith Emerson grew up in a very modest home in Worthing, Sussex, in a family that was not musical. However, his father was a self-taught pianist who taught him the basics, igniting a passion that would define his life. He began taking formal classical piano lessons at the age of 8, and by his teens, he had developed a deep interest in jazz and boogie-woogie. This deep influence of strict classical training and the improvisational freedom of jazz would become the very core of his sound. Behind Emerson's rebellious stage theatrics was the mind of a meticulous musician. He famously said he considered himself self-taught after a certain point, but that was built on a foundation of rigorous classical training. Even at the height of his fame, he would practice for hours every day, including an hour on scale and finger exercises. His discipline wasn't just about technical skill on one instrument. It was his desire to master every keyboard he touched. He was one of the first keyboardists to truly become fluent on a variety of electronic instruments, including the piano, the Hammond organ, and the revolutionary Moog synthesizer, each with its own unique discipline and learning curve. This is where Emerson truly set himself apart. He wasn't just a virtuosic player, he was an innovator and showman. Emerson was a pioneer in the Moog modular synthesizer, live in a rock setting. This was a cumbersome, experimental instrument at the time, but he used it to create a world of sounds that had never been heard before in popular music. He took the staid image of a keyboardist and turned it into a theatrical performance. He would stab the keys of his Hammond organ with knives to sustain notes, throw the instrument around the stage, and ride it like a horse. This wasn't just a show, it was an extension of his aggressive and expressive musical style. He masterfully blended classical music with jazz and rock. He wasn't just copying classical pieces, he was reimagining them, weaving in improvisational solos, rock rhythms, and electronic sounds to create something entirely new.